What's up guys? Today in this video I'm going to show you how to work with Laravel Exel. It's a package which allows us to work with exporting data into different formats including CSV and Excel. I recently used it in one of our projects for Office, and that's when I found that this is a very powerful package, and hence I decided to create a video out of it. So let's get started. I have a clean installation of Laravel, okay, and then let us install this package first. So installation, we just need to do composer require and the package name. Once the package is installed, I will again serve my app, and then let's start working through it. Now, what this package will typically do is, because of auto discovery and everything, you don't need to do any configuration. Your package is ready to be installed, ready to use. So I will show you what I'm going to export as data. So you can see in my database, I have 100 users, pretty standard stuff. I seeded this data, and then I have one column called is active. Now what I want to do is, let's just say based on client's requirement, we want to export only the users which are active in the system. Okay. Now, how do you do this? Let's just say, based on the suggested format of this package, we need to create a class out of it, a class where the data will be exported. So let me create a file. I'll have an exports folder. Inside that we will have user exports, or let's just say active user exports. Okay, now let me do some basic namespacing and stuff. Okay, I think I should name it export rather than exports. Doesn't really make sense. Okay, this is the class name, but I need to rename it. I should rename it to singular because it doesn't make sense otherwise. Okay, so this is my class name. Inside exports, I have active user export. Now, this package allows you to export data into different formats, for example, from view, from query, from many other stuff. But today, what we are going to look at is a custom query, how we implement it. So this package gives us an interface which we can implement, which is from query. Okay, interesting. It's not coming up. Define type. Let me quickly reload and see if things change, because ideally it should have given me that hint. Wow, it's not working for some reason. It came up. Right. So this is what I was looking for. Mat website Excel concerns from query. Okay, once we implement this from query interface, obviously we need to add a function in our class which should be query. Now this is the function which will be called while creating the export, and it will, how do you say, it will kind of take this query data and then create the CSV or Excel, whatever we are defining. So let's just say we return a query. So user query. Okay, where is active is 1. Now, one important thing to remember is you don't need to execute the get function or the first function, because this will be taken by the package and it will do its thing. So you don't need to run that function on top of it. Now this thing is ready. One last thing before we can actually start exporting the data is import trait, and the trait is use exportable. Okay, this exportable, basically what it does is it gives us a function. This is the trait. It gives us a download function where we pass in the file name and stuff, and it will allow us to download the file. So how do we do that? Let's go to web.php. Now, what do we need to do? We basically need to return the download function, and it will automatically start creating the file. The syntax for this is, inside return we have new active user export. On that we have download. The first parameter we saw is the file name, so let's just say active user.xls, okay, something like this, and I save it. Let's go over here and do download. Okay, it says, all right, my bad. Let's go to my env file. Right, it has restarted the server. So now if I hit refresh, desktop, that's fine. I can live with the desktop file. And you can see what we have in here is the entire user table. Okay. However, you can see because the user model has certain fields as hidden, for example, the password and the remember token, they never showed in this because we never get those columns when we query our model. Okay, but yes, basically this thing is working. Now, what if we want to add certain columns? Because as you can see, this is definitely not going to work for us because there's no name, email. It is quite possible that the client will come back saying, you have done a good job, but then I need the name of the columns. So let's just close this. We'll have file name as 2. And how do we add the columns? Very straightforward. What we need to do is in here do with headings. Okay, and when this is done, it will expect a function. Okay, what is this interface expecting? It's expecting headings function. So let's just add that. Okay, array. Now obviously we need to return an array, but then what do we return in here? Let's just say we want to export certain fields. For example, what do we need to export? ID, name, email. Okay, let's just say we just want to add that, or maybe even the created at. Okay, these are the 4 fields. So obviously I can put them as heading, but then the problem is these should be the only columns which I'm selecting, which means I'll have to put it here. But then I'm duplicating things, so there's a code smell. How do we solve this problem? The simplest way is obviously something like this. So I just do this. Columns. Okay, so far so good. Now if we are lucky, we should be able to refresh this page, have a new file. Maybe I will update the same file and open it up. Okay, this is interesting. it still selected everything. Oh yes, my bad. This should be query select like so. And now if I close this file, I don't need to save that. Come over here, hit refresh. Let's see. Yes, this time we have the correct data. So as you can see, I was able to get the only columns which I wanted, and also I have this heading. Now this is definitely something in small letters, but you can definitely change that and do name as capital, something like. Oh, but yeah, the problem is my select column will then fail. So maybe you'll have to go through each key and make it uppercase, but you get the point, right? You can always iterate through it and pass it as an array, because the heading function only expects you to send an array which will be added as the first row, and that becomes your headings. Now there are certain more niceties available with this package. For example, if we go back to the downloads function, you can see there's something called writer type. Now this writer type is basically what type of file we are trying to create. Okay, so let's just say right now we have how do you say? Right now we are generating a Excel file. How do we confirm that? Let me see. Let me show you. So I just tried opening the XLS file inside Visual Studio Code and it failed because it does say that this editor doesn't support this kind of a binary file. But now, next step, let's just say inside web.php, I do CSV, okay? And then inside here, I do CSV again. Now, let's go to the page, hit refresh. It is now creating a CSV file. And if I open that file in my Visual Studio Code, so you can see the file name is activeuser2.csv, and this is actually a CSV file, and that's the reason we are able to see it inside Visual Studio Code, because now this is not a binary file. This is all new lines and comma separated values which the CSV will read. So this package already allows you to create Excel files, create CSV files, and one more nice thing is DOM PDF. Okay, but obviously right now it will fail. I'll show you. It says class DOM PDF not found. So let's just look for this. Basically, this is a composer package which we need to install. So let's go to the first search result. Come over here. And let me quickly install this package. This is done. So now go to our page and hit refresh. Okay, this is not a CSV file. Let me rename it. This is PDF. Okay, like so. Hit refresh once more. Yes, this is a PDF. And if I try to open it up, you can see I have one PDF which has all the data which was required over here. It made a nice little table over here, and you get the point, right? So if you want a PDF instead of a CSV for the client, you can do that as well. So already you can see this package does give you a lot of things out of the box. This is a very powerful package, and I really liked it. I was exploring a lot of things in it, and I felt that this is a very nice package to know and keep it handy for you. So yeah, that's the reason I created this video. If you like this video, do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.